They found her footprints in the sand, leading straight into the river, but they never found her body. Only her wedding veil floated on the water, stained red. I remember the first time I saw Abeni. She was the most beautiful woman in our village, her skin like polished ebony, her eyes bright as the morning star. But Abeni's beauty made her proud. She turned away every man who came to her father's house with gifts. Farmers, hunters, warriors, none were good enough for her. "I will only marry someone worthy of me," she would say, flipping her long braids over her shoulder. We whispered about her in the village. Some said she was cursed, others said she would die alone. But none of us could look away when she walked by, her beauty a kind of spell. One evening, during the Hamatan season, a stranger came to the village. He was tall and handsome, with skin the colour of ash after a fire and a voice deep as the forest. He wore a fine white robe that shimmered in the moonlight and carried a staff carved with strange symbols. No one knew where he came from, but his smile made even the bravest man uneasy. The stranger went straight to Abeni's father's compound and declared he had come to marry her. He brought gifts like we had never seen before. Coral beads that glowed in the dark, a necklace of gold so pure it hurt your eyes, and a cloth so soft it slipped through your fingers like water. Abeni smiled for the first time in months. "Finally," she said, "a man who is worthy." Her father, blinded by the gifts, agreed to the marriage. The wedding was the grandest the village had ever seen. The stranger spared no expense. There was UHC and F, dancing, and enough food to feed the entire village twice over. But something felt wrong. The air was cold, and the shadows seemed to stretch too long. When the ceremony ended, the stranger took Abeni by the hand and said, "Now we go to my home." Abeni turned to us and laughed. "Do not wait for me," she said. "I will not return." The villagers watched as they walked down the road, their figures fading into the night. But I raced 3, curious, excited to follow them. Oh, they walked for hours, deeper and deeper into the forest, until we reached a river I had never seen before. The water was black, and the air smelled of decay. The stranger turned to Abeni and said, "This is my home. Step into the river, and I will show you my true form." Abeni hesitated. "Your true form?" The man smiled, but his teeth were too sharp. "Did you think?" Before she could run, he grabbed her wrist and pulled her into the water. Her scream echoed through the trees, sharp and terrified, but it ended too soon. The river went still, and the man, if he was a man, was gone. I waited until dawn, hoping she would rise, but only her wedding veil floated to the surface, torn and stained with blood. When I returned to the village, I told the elders what I had seen. They performed rituals, poured libations, and warned everyone never to speak of Abeni again. But at night, when the moon is full, you can hear her voice in the wind, calling for help. And sometimes, if you walk too close to the river, you'll see her face beneath the water, her beauty untouched, her eyes filled with tears. But don't look too long. She's always looking for someone to take her place. Please subscribe, like, and